Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. I hope you're having a good day. In this video, I want to address three when questions related to correlation tables. When are they used? When are they not used? And when are they modified? So when are they used? Well, typically, and this comes down to a sort of a tricky question. When they are used, should be initially looking at an associative relationship between two variables. That's it. That's when they are used, statistically speaking. But these tables are also used when you are attempting to quantify relationships between variables, and that can be done at any point in your dissertation. It can be done at any point in an article that you're trying to get published. And so they are used at multiple times in multiple analyses. But if you're starting out, you're trying to situate when do I use these tables, I would suggest and stress that you only use these tables when you are wanting to talk about relationships, associative relationships between two variables, or between two variables in a group as we see here. Okay. When are they not used? Well, as I said, they can be used almost anywhere. So the question of when are they not used gets a little tricky. This really comes down not to a statistical question, but to a practice question that you need to have with your chair, or if you've already moved to a publishing position, publishers that you're working with. Because just as a statistics textbook presents a model of statistics, these tables can be thought of as models of correlation. And so every table can be used accordingly. So you need to be aware of that. So they are not used when you deemed them to be unnecessary. This gets a little tricky if you are driven not by your research question, but by your results. And this comes back to a topic that I have mentioned on other videos, that you need to be making your notes, thinking about what did I learn, how did this change my thinking about my research, what I was writing, and what I was doing. Because that can also determine when these tables are not used. It may become an extraneous or a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down. So you want to be careful. You may find something that, hey, it's statistically significant, but it doesn't have anything to do with my research question. So you wouldn't want to report that. So don't waste your time. Now, when do we modify these tables? Well, that's also a tricky question, because the reality is there is, with one or two exceptions, some fluidity in the development of these tables. As I have said on a previous video, a lot of professors like to put descriptive statistics in a correlation table, or a correlation table in the descriptive table together in some form or fashion. They might put the descriptives first and then the correlation, or they may put the correlation first and then the descriptives. And so there is a lot of opportunities to make modifications. That's the first modification that I would suggest that you might want to be aware of. And the reason why I point to that is because there is a modification that is now considered standard that used to not be. If we look at these two tables, you'll notice that it only has the data in the bottom triangle. You don't have any data here. Same thing here. I have the 0.75 here, but I don't have it here. Well, there was a time when you would put all of the numbers in there. But that was quite a while ago. Now this is considered a standard practice or a standard modification for a correlation table. There was also a time in some fields where instead of putting the numbers here, you would put the numbers up here. And so modifying these tables typically reflects changes in both your field and in statistics simultaneously. So you never know when these modifications are going to occur. You never really know if what you're doing is going to be acceptable until you ask your professor, your chair, publishers of articles. They're the ones who have a really good idea that you should probably always return to when you're uncertain. I hope this video has answered some of your questions. Hope it's raised some questions. If it has, we'd love to hear it. Otherwise, I hope you have a good day.